मेंटल सेशन है क्या?
मेरा भी नाम लिख दो कोई। लिखो लिखो, मेरा नाम लिखो, मेरा नाम लिख दो।
अरे सर।
किधर गया रे भाई, ये व्हाइट बोर्ड किधर गया?
Hey people, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So, how was the weekend? So, we'll wait for some time and then we'll start. We have only 34 people as of now. Let's see. Okay, so someone is saying, Sonu Kumar, you didn't receive my message in Slack. You're not added to interest group, is it?
No, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. I'll add you. You people had a assignment solving session today?
No, sir, it was cancelled.
It was
No,
cancelled
sir.
due to instruct unavailability.
It does not happen.
Okay, okay. What was the
Sir,
assignment?
please add me also.
Who's that?
Saurabh Rawat, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. I'm adding people. What's the name? Who was the first one? Sonu Kumar.
Sir.
Is it? Sonu Kumar, is it?
Yes, sir.
Just Sonu Kumar. I am seeing a lot of Sonu Kumar here. I'm not sure who's the one. You have any pick pointing? Sonu Kumar.
No
Sonu
pick in
Kumar.
the division.
There are two people who don't have people. Can you drop me a message? You have search me in Slack and drop me a message. I'll add you. Okay. You get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who was the other one?
Sir, me, Saurabh Rawat.
Sir, your full name is, sir?
Abhinav
Abhi-
Kumar. Saurabh Rawat. S. Can you spell out your name?
SAURABH.
Okay, and RAWAT.
RAWAT.
Okay, I got it. It says already in the channel. Okay. There's one more I'll add. This also.
सर आपका वॉइस लो आ रहा है.
हाँ जी.
आपका वॉइस लो आ रहा है सर.
Sir, I send you message in Slack, sir.
Now I can see, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir,
Am
I send you
audible?
message. Yes, sir. I send you message in Slack.
No, I'm not sure if you sent to the right person. I didn't receive any message yet.
Oh, my.
If you have an email ID attached to your account, tell me that.
Yeah.
I'll search with that email ID.
Yes,
then.
sir. Yes, sir. Sonu Kumar. Sonu Kumar 963. My email ID, sir.
Sonu Kumar 963, is it?
1111 4 times.
Okay, I got it. It says already in this channel. Enter is January 22, 2022. It says already in this channel. I'm not sure. Okay, fine.
Okay.
We are almost 60 folks now. So can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so someone is saying my voice is not audible. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir, audible, but slow, sir.
Is it slow? Okay.
Is it fine, sir?
How is it this? How is this now?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine. So we were kind of started with JavaScript, right? I just gave you a brief of JavaScript intro, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now we'll jump into the coding part slowly. Okay. And then I'll tell you like what else, where JavaScript executes, what else we can do with JavaScript and all those sort of, tiny things. And then we'll move into the complex structures. Okay. So first thing, what people generally found, difficult to understand is how JavaScript gets executed. Okay. So I'll talk about that first, and then I'll try to, show you via the code also, right? So first I'll try to give you a pictorial representation so that you have a kind of good understanding, right? Pictorial understanding, and then we'll get into the, what do you say? The coding part, the exact coding part, and show you that how it looks like generally. Okay. So everything like last day I guess I talked about something called as JavaScript engine, right? Did I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone give me a brief like what is JavaScript engine? What's that?
Actually, sir, JavaScript runs in browser, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Chrome uses V8 engine. You already told that.
Yes.
Firefox uses Spider Monkey, this kind of thing. Like Internet Explorer
Can
uses
you
Chakra.
can you relate this JavaScript engine with that? Why do you need JavaScript engine? I gave you a proper explanation of
Yeah.
that.
Where you
Execution of
compile your
JavaScript
code.
code.
Correct. Very good. So like similarly, like for running or executing any programming language, you need some environment, right? You need some environment. Like for Java, you need JRE, Java runtime environment. So similarly, for JavaScript to run, it needs the JavaScript engine, which actually is in the browser, right? And I also gave you a couple of names, right? So these names, at least some of them you should remember, right? Not all of them, but at least some of them, the important ones. The V8 for Chrome is the most important one, because if when we later came into Node, so Node is also built on this V8 only, right? So it is kind of it takes the binding of this V8 with C++ to give you all the backend related stuffs. So we'll talk about those in more detail in Node section, but remembering or having a gist of these names will give you a kind of boost up to your knowledge. Like whenever you're speaking in an interview or when you're talking to anyone in terms of JavaScript. So if you give these names or if you use these terms or jargons, then they will get to know that okay, so you are kind of having a pretty good hold on JavaScript. So remembering these things actually helps out. Okay, so try to at least remember one
Sir,
or two, like
excuse me.
V8. Yes.
Can you please repeat? Actually, the voice was breaking in between, so I was not able to hear properly. Whatever
what I
you
was
just
saying
said
is,
about, yeah.
I was saying that like these JavaScript engines names, right? You got to know like, okay, so JavaScript engine, there's something called a JavaScript engine that exists in browser inside which our JavaScript runs, correct? Is that clear? So
Yes, sir.
what I'm saying is you should also remember some of the names. If someone asks you that, okay, can you give me an example of like JavaScript engine? So you should straight away say that, okay, so V8 is one, which is for Chrome, Google Chrome, right? Spider Monkey or, Nitro or JavaScript Core, Chakra, any two or three is fine. Okay. I would say that V8 for Chrome and Spider Monkey for Firefox, at least you should know these two.
But
correct?
which is better, sir?
V8 is the best one. V8 is
Chrome.
kind of pretty much faster. Okay. Yes. So that's about your, JavaScript engine and all. Okay. We'll talk about this also. I'll give you a brief of like how engine looks like and what all other things are there in the engine, but that's a kind of advanced thing. So we'll leave it for now, but just to give you a brief. Okay. Now, the thing is like what actually JavaScript, does or how it actually runs, right? So first of all, okay, let me show you a couple of things like how you actually kind of connect your JavaScript or write JavaScript coding. Okay, so let me open nothing here.
Sir, can you please share your screen, sir?
Yeah, I'm sharing it. Just give me a second. Trying to generate a new work environment altogether. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I have actually pushed the code of the last session in this HTML repo, right? So what I'll do is I'll create a new repo for JavaScript altogether, so that you have a kind of different repos for different sections basically.
So can you please share the link for this repo in the chat box only?
I have done that already in the very first session. Okay, I'll share that again.
Not in chat, sir. Please send in the Slack.
On the Slack channel.
Yeah, I'll send it. Just give me a second. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of creating a new folder called as JavaScript here. You all can see my screen, right? This new folder.
Yes, sir.
So here I'll just create a HTML file, and along with that I'll also create a script.js file. So similarly, like we had this .html extension for HTML, for JavaScript we had this JS extension, okay, file with .js extension. Okay, so whenever you see this, you will get to know that, okay, so we are actually kind of running a JavaScript file. Get it?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
here when you say HTML5, so you can generate this, and then so similarly, how we were trying to add CSS in a file, there were a couple of ways, right? So we were kind of using style tag, right? We were also trying to link it with a different file altogether, right? An external file. Same thing is applicable for your JavaScript also. There is something called as a script tag, okay? Something like this, script tag, right? That you can use for writing your JavaScript. So I can either write my JavaScript file here directly, right? Let's say alert, right? Alert of, let's say, if say I want to alert hi, right? So this is actually JavaScript. Okay, let me show you like what this does. Let me try to add it. JavaScript 6, and then if I open it, if I go here, can you see? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
As soon as I refresh this, see, an alert shows up saying hi, correct? And if I click OK, this will be gone. So that's what is an alert in JavaScript, like this alert function. This is kind of a function wherein you can pass like what you want to show. Let's say I say hi, this is from JS session, then it will display that message. Okay, something like this. Okay, make sense?
Sir, I'm not able to see the message on the screen.
Yeah, actually, we are not able to see the message.
You're not able to see the message?
No, sir.
No,
Only
sir.
the blank page is visible. Index.html.
कंसोल में करना पड़ेगा सर.
No, but I can see it. There is a pop-up. There is a black pop-up. You can't see that?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Let
Maybe
me-
because you're sharing this tab only.
You
or
can rejoin.
just give me a second. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? So this is from a JS file, right? So this is how a alert looks like. Okay. Just give me a second where that goes. Yeah. This is the one. Fine. So now actually, like whatever code you write within this script tag, right, that actually gets executed by your browser. Okay. Now there are multiple other ways as well. I can either do this like we were doing it similar to our what to say style wala
Yes,
tag,
yes.
right?
CSS.
Yes, CSS. Now same thing I can do with a external CSS file as well. External script file, I mean, right? So there I need a src attribute. Where else have we seen this src attribute? Can you tell me?
Image tag.
Image tag.
Script.
Image tag. Good. So there also we used to give this source, right? Like from where you have to take this, correct? And inside this script file, if I go here and write an alert and say again, hello. So now if I go here, see, the alert says hello now. Get it?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So there are a couple of ways how you actually write your JavaScript in the browser. Okay, you can either use a script tag with a external file, or you can use script tag and within that you can write your JavaScript. But this is the preferred way. If you have a very short JavaScript kind of a file, then you can write it here. Otherwise, you should always go this way. Okay. Now, also there are a couple of places where you can write JavaScript. You can either write it in header tag. You can also write it in the body tag. Okay, so even if I copy this and if I paste it here, and if I comment this out, this will still work. Okay, see, if I refresh this, it's working, right?
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
So this here also you can write it, and the same goes for this script tag also. You can write the same script tag also here in the body section. Okay, so at both the places this is applicable. Header tag, inside header tag you can also write your script tags. Inside body tags also you can write your script tags. Okay, when to write inside head, when to write inside body, that we'll see in the later sections. Okay, there is a specific kind of a reason when you used to write it in the script body tag. Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the reason also for this one. Fine. So that's about your script files and how to tag your JavaScript. Okay, now there is also, along with this script, there is also something called as no script tag. Okay, no script tag. Okay, and inside this also, why is this coming? And inside this also you can write your some message, right? So sometimes what happens is your browser doesn't actually give access to JavaScript. The JavaScript used to be disabled sometimes in the browser, right? So for that purpose we usually write this no script tag, so that if JavaScript is disabled in the browser, user will get to know that JavaScript is not enabled, so that they can kind of get a message. Like we generally write something like this, please enable JavaScript, right? So that if JavaScript is not enabled and none of your code of JavaScript is running, user won't get a any info, right, related to like what is actually happening. So how do we enable and disable JavaScript? I'll tell you. Like you can go to this site settings here, and here there is something called a JavaScript, and by default it used to be set as allowed, right? Allow. You can go and set it as block, and as soon as I do this, if I go here, see the no script, whatever message I have written here is being shown or not. Now even if I enable this script tags, is this alert, this won't work. See, right?
So this no script tag belongs to HTML or JavaScript?
It's a script tag, right? This script is also a tag, right, inside which you write JavaScript. So if you ask that what that style tag belongs to, style tag actually belongs to HTML, but inside that we write CSS, correct? Same thing is for JavaScript also. This script tag actually belongs to HTML, but inside that we write our JavaScript code. Okay. Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Same thing is for this no script tag also. So this is kind of a message, right? Like even if, see, I have this script tag written, inside that I have also given the file, I have given the alert, right? But this is not working, correct? Previously, if I enable JavaScript, see, it will work. If I go here and say JavaScript is allowed, if I go back, if I refresh, see, it started working again, right? Right?
Yes,
for
sir.
some reason, sometimes the JavaScript, your browser also sometimes does that for security reasons, that it doesn't allow the, whenever it sees that there is a security concerns, it sometimes doesn't allow JavaScript to, work on the browser. So it used to disable, right? So this is how you can enable and disable JavaScript. And, if such, then you should throw a message to the user. If I don't give this script tag, no script tag, sorry. And if I go here and if I disable JavaScript in the browser, right? If I go here and disable it, so by default, user won't see anything, correct? See, there's a blank page. They won't get to know that what's happening, what's wrong, correct? So for that purpose, we usually throw a message. Okay, got it? That got the need of this no script tag.
Yes.
Okay, and again, the no script tag also can be written in your header tag and in your body tag. Okay, but what is the difference? Let me show you. Inside our body tag, right? Generally, what have we seen? Inside our head tag, we write only those things which actually doesn't, have a content, correct? So
Yes.
this is a message, right? A message that you are writing. So if you write it directly inside this no script tag, you can write it in your header tag. But if you want to make use of some tags like, for bold, you want to show the message in bold, correct? You want to show the message in some headers, like let's say H1 or H3, right? So for that purpose, you have to come to body, because all those tags are accessible within your body, correct? We have seen all these things in HTML, correct?
Yes.
Right? So here I can show my, my message in either of the tags. Let's say I remove this and I add a H3, right? And then I show this, please enable JavaScript. So it will be now used in the tag, correct? Got it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that's
So
about
if we
your,
want to apply the formatting, we will put it in the body tag.
yes. If you want to
sir,
make
no
use
script
of
tag, it is
any,
just
yes,
it working as a tag, simple tag.
correct. Yes. JavaScript is, no script is actually a tag,
Okay,
which
sir.
only runs whenever your browser is not enabled the JavaScript. Okay.
Also, I wanted to ask one thing.
Yes.
There is the thing that when we see or we scroll through New York Times, it asks for subscription when you see one or two posts. But if you try to disable the JavaScript, then you can read the whole page.
Correct. Yes.
Without subscribing. So how
Yes.
does it work?
How it works is like the tracking of the users, like when you scroll to a specific limit, like we used to have scrolls, right?
Yes.
So everything, whatever is happening in your browser, the person sitting behind or whoever has written the code can track you via JavaScript only.
Okay.
That what you're doing in the web page. That I have already covered in couple of last session is that like HTML is only a content. It cannot take or give any input to the user, correct?
Yes.
Did we say that?
Yes.
Right. So any event that is happening on the web page can only be tracked by JavaScript, right? So if you don't allow JavaScript, they won't be able to track you that where till what you have scrolled, right? So that they can show you or throw you a message that you need subscription or anything of that sort. Got it? So that's a kind of a hack that you can use that, to read that web page and all.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's how it is. Now you got a basic of like how to write JavaScript and all, right? So generally what we'll do in sessions is like we will go to our external script file, and then so that we have a clear differentiation of files, like where this HTML is sitting and when the script is sitting, and inside that we'll try to write our JavaScript related stuffs. Make sense? This is what the structure that we are gonna go follow. Got it, people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's about your JavaScript and how it works and all everything. Now we'll see that some conceptual level things, right? So what I'll do is I'll try to share you a whiteboard. So let me go here. Where is whiteboard? Yeah. Can you see the whiteboard now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So everything within JavaScript, right? So we have a couple of ways, right? We have a couple of ways to execute it. So like whenever your JavaScript code executes, right, there are a couple of things that we have to understand first. So there is something called as execution context in JavaScript. Okay. So something like this. Okay. Execution context. Let me write it here. Execution context. Okay. So whenever you you write any coding in JavaScript, right? Anything. What happens is, like, no, okay, just give me a second. So someone is saying that my voice is not audible. That's a pretty long ago.
Sir, it's audible.
Is audible, right?
Yes,
Then
sir.
whoever is
Yes, sir.
saying that, I would definitely suggest that please check your internet connection. Maybe that's an issue. Okay, fine. So whenever you write any coding in JavaScript, right, it actually gets executed in two phases. Okay, one is a creation phase and then is the execution phase, right? Generally, people don't, think of all these things, and then straight away they start learning JavaScript and all, and then they get confused. So learning these basic things is pretty important. Okay, so pay a close attention here. So everything, like whenever you write something, let's say you have written something like that alert, or something like you created a function and then you called that function, right? And let's say one other thing is, like, let's say you initialized a variable. We'll see all those things, like how to initialize a variable and all. So everything, whatever code you're going to write, whatsoever code, right, everything will be actually, working in an execution context. And inside this execution context, there will be two steps, right, followed by JavaScript. Now, what are those two steps? So the first step is, say here. So the first step that we call here, like on this side, is called as memory creation. Okay, or people also sometimes call it creation. Okay, creation phase or memory creation phase. Okay, and then the second one is called something as execution. Okay, so let me write it here, execution. So two phases. First phase is memory creation or creation, and second one is execution or code execution, anything, right? And these two steps actually gets followed within something called as execution context. Okay, up till this, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, yes,
Yes.
yes, someone is saying something.
सर ये जो मेमोरी क्रिएशन होता है, मतलब ये कहाँ पे होता है, मतलब वैसा, मतलब स्ट्रक्चर कहाँ पे करना?
I'll tell everything, but see, memory creation phase, JavaScript, wherever JavaScript is running, right, the environment in which it is running, right, which is, I already told, like JRE, like similar to JRE, we have V8 and all those, and inside that all of these things happens.
तो जब जावास्क्रिप्ट सर वेब ब्राउजर पर सर वर्क करता है सर, तो मेमोरी क्रिएशन कैसे होगा सर?
ब्राउजर के अंदर
सर जब जावास्क्रिप्ट वेब ब्राउजर पर सर रन करता है,
हाँ जी,
तो मेमोरी क्रिएशन कैसे होगा सर?
मेमोरी क्रिएशन होगा जावास्क्रिप्ट वेब ब्राउजर के अंदर होगा, आपके जो जावास्क्रिप्ट इंजन होगी उसके अंदर होगा। आपके ब्राउजर के अंदर मेमोरी होती है, आपको पता है?
मतलब जैसे भी अभी देखो जावा अपने सिंपल जावा का हम जैसे हेलो वर्ल्ड का प्रोग्राम रन करते हैं,
हाँ जी,
टेबल फाइल क्रिएट होती है, उसके बाद वो जावा वर्चुअल मशीन में एग्जीक्यूट होती है, सेम लाइक वही पैनल होता है या
जैसे जावा वर्चुअल मशीन में आपकी कोडिंग वहां पे होती है, वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी जैसे JRE वहां होती है, जो कि आप उसका रन टाइम इन्वायरमेंट होता है, करेक्ट? Similar to that, we have a runtime environment in Java, in browser also, right? Inside that, all of this happens, like execution context, inside that memory creation, execution, everything. So that's why have you seen that, like whenever there is a very large amount of code that is getting executed, your browser usually gets slows down. Have you observed that? Like if you're, landing, or if you're loading a very large website, right? Like,
Sometimes.
Facebook, like if it's a very simple website which is having very less amount of JavaScript, it will be very fast. If it's having a very large amount of JavaScript, then it will be slower. Why? Because there is a memory that your browser has, right? And as much as memory that you occupy via JavaScript, that much slower your browser will be.
Okay.
So everything, whatever this memory creation, execution, everything, whatever I'm talking about, happens within the browser, specifically within the browser inside that JavaScript engine. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So here I'm writing a sample code. Okay, I'll explain this to you in a while, but just bear with me for some time. So this is actually a way of defining a variable. We can make use of this keyword called var, and then a is a name of the variable. This name can be anything. Okay, and then I have initialized it with a value called 10. Okay, after this, let's say I have a function, right, and I am giving it a name as test. So that's how we create a function in JavaScript, right? And inside that, let's say I'm doing some alert, let's say, sorry. Alert. Hello, something like this. Okay. So all of this thing actually, happens in the in that execution context, right? Now inside this execution context, we have, multiple things, right? First thing is the memory creation phase, and second is the execution. So whenever, let's say I have only this one to execute, correct? Only this one. So first thing what JavaScript does is it allocates memory to all the variables and functions, allocates the memory, right? What does that mean? So first thing what it does, it goes through this code line by line and allocates memory to all of this. So first thing, what is the variable that you encountered first thing? What is the variable? A, right? So it will come here now in the memory creation phase here. It will come here and it will say here A. Okay, A will be created in the memory. Okay. After that, it will see a function called, what is the name of the function?
Test.
The name of the function is test.
Function
Right?
test.
Yes. Function test. Function is the keyword. Function is not the name.
Okay.
The name is only the test. Okay. So it will create the test also in the memory creation phase. Okay. Now, it in the memory creation phase, it also gives it some values. Okay. First, when you write this code, right? If I'm saying that A is created in the memory, doesn't mean that A is holding the value as 10 in the memory as of now. No. Okay. In the memory creation phase, what happens? A is created in the memory, and then JavaScript will assign a value, something called as undefined, like this. A is equal to undefined. Okay. In the memory, right? And this test function, for functions, what it does, it actually, saves the whole function. So this function test is equal to alert function, hello, everything will be saved here. Same thing, whatever you have written there, function, and then test is already written, so it's a function, and then whatever you have written inside that function, right? So what I have written inside that function?
Hello.
Alert. And inside that alert, hello. Right? So this is what happens in the memory creation phase. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we don't put semicolon after alert hello.
Yes, you can write it.
Okay.
And it's a best practice to always write it. But yeah, like in your VS Code, even if you don't write, it won't complain. But this is always a best practice to write it. Okay. Yes. So in the memory creation phase, what you do? You actually created a memory space for the variable and functions, and then gave them some values. For variable, it used to give something strange, something called as undefined. We'll come to this in a while. Okay, maybe sometime later. And for test, it actually assigns the whole function, right? Whatever is the function is actually this, right? This function. This is the name is function, and then alert hello, right, is assigned to this test, something like this. Okay. This is in the memory creation page, where till now no line of code has been executed. Okay. Up till now nothing has been executed, right? This is just the memory creation phase running. So, and this is done for the whole JavaScript file. It's not just like 2 lines. Whatever code I'm writing, let's say after this line again, I'm writing some code here, right? Let's say again I have written where b is equal to something. B is equal to, let's say, up enough, right? Then after that I have again written something, let's say where c, or let's say where x is equal to something, let's say 500, right? So it will be done for all the variables and functions. So after that, let's say there is some function also. Let's say there is a function also. So again, something like this has been created. Everything gets created in the memory creation phase, and the same structure is followed. Get it? So let's say here also I am having one more function. Let's say testing again, or let's call it something else, something. Right, and inside that, let's say I'm writing console.log.
We actually assign value of a is equal to 10, but sir, in memory creation, why it's a is undefined?
I'll come to that. I'll come to that. So everything is there for a reason. Like everything, like whatever you are seeing is actually kind of the way of how JavaScript works, right? This is a lot internal that I'm talking. I'll give you that when this 10 is also assigned. Okay, so don't worry. Right, so first I'm talking about this memory creation phase. So for all the variables, or functions or function parameters, sometimes you used to have function parameters, right? Like we used to take arguments within it, right? And then we used to use it. Have you seen that, those patterns in Java and all? You might have seen that, right?
Yes, sir.
So those also gets created in the memory creation phase itself. Okay,
sir. Sir, what happened? We actually initialization of a variable a in memory creation. What happens?
in memory creation, a is assigned a value called as undefined, something like this, undefined.
Sir, in variable initialization, we are not any assigning value of a, just initialization.
Yes, we are not assigning the values. We are just creating the memory spaces for all the variables, right? We are just reserving the space in the memory. That JavaScript first goes through all this line of code and reserves the space in the memory. No assignments.
One by one.
Okay, one by one. Yes. So first a is created, assigned a value undefined. Then this function is function actually assigns the whole function itself, the whole value, right? Then the b is created, right? Here somewhere near here b will be created, right? Here, right? B, and then b will again be undefined.
सर बाय डिफॉल्ट उसका मेमोरी एलोकेशन कितना है, मतलब a इज इक्वल टू अनडिफाइंड है. ओके ठीक है, अभी a इज इक्वल टू 10 दिया है, बट वो बाय डिफॉल्ट उसका कितना है मेमोरी एलोकेशन, ऐसा कुछ है सर उसमें?
ये बाय डिफॉल्ट मैं बता रहा हूँ कि बाय डिफॉल्ट इसमें जो वैल्यू असाइन होती है ना, वो अनडिफाइंड होती है. अच्छा, उसके बाद कब 10 होती है वो मैं बताऊंगा आपको, अभी वेट कर लो थोड़ी देर.
ओके ओके ओके,
ठीक है. तो अभी मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको सिर्फ फर्स्ट फेज का. अभी मैं पूरा फेज जब कंप्लीट करूंगा ना, तो आपको पता चलेगी धीरे धीरे. ठीक है, थोड़ी देर आप रुक जाओ.
ओके ठीक है, ओके ओके,
ठीक है. तो सेम थिंग हैपेंस फॉर all the variables and functions. Okay, something like this. Now when all the scanning of this code has been done, so here my code ends, correct? After everything, so same thing goes for function something also. So don't think that if I'm not writing, then it's not happening. It's happening. Okay, I'm just giving dot dot dot, right? So this dot 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 means actually this function. So everything is actually reserved a space in the memory, and we have actually gave some default values for these variables, like a is equal to undefined, b is equal to undefined, x, whatever variables are there. Functions get their whole values. Okay, now when the scanning and this memory allocation is done, then your memory creation phase gets completed. Okay, now comes your execution phase. Okay, in the execution phase, whatever value you have assigned, like 10, or for function it is already assigned, right? And anything like, let's say you invoke that function, right? So if you invoke this function, let's say how you do invoke or call that function, how do you call it? Let's say I want to call this test, how can I call it?
So test and then
Just
you put the
function, user
semicolon.
function
Test,
name
sir.
and
Correct. So test and then the parenthesis, right?
Parenthesis.
Right. So here I'll call something like this, test and this parenthesis, right? So can you guess the difference between this and this? What is the difference? The difference is here I am defining the function, right? I'm defining that what this test is. It doesn't mean if I define it and if I don't call it, you will never see this alert, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? When you call it, then this execution will happen,
Okay.
right? So in your memory creation phase, this will never happen, right? Because it's just creating the memory. If you are invoking it, this invocation will happen in the execution phase when you are executing the code. Got it?
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
Yes. So now in the execution phase, what happens? Whatever value you have assigned to your variables, you have already created the memory in the memory creation, right? And give them some values called undefined, right? Now in the execution phase, when you start giving the values, then this undefined will be replaced. Okay. So then this undefined, okay, so everything goes. It's going everything, man. Okay, I'm not sure how to do this. So this undefined actually will go, okay, and then you will be assigned a value 10 here. Got it? In the execution phase. So whatever is the assignment of the values is happening here happens in the execution phase, right? Got it?
Got it, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Same thing happens for all the variables. For this V also, this undefined will be replaced by what?
Abhinav.
Abhinav. X will be replaced by 500, right? And then all your executions of your functions will be taking place here in the execution phase. Okay. So your test, when you call here, then actually your test will go and see that what is there in the memory. What is this test holding in the memory? The test is holding this function, correct? So this function
sir.
will be executed. Okay. So that's how what your execution context is, and that's what your two separate phases are in your JavaScript call execution or code execution, right?
Repeat one time, sir, please.
Okay. First thing, whenever you start writing your code, right, everything happens within something called as execution context that gets created, correct? And let me generalize it, or let me make it more clearer. There is something called as global execution context. Okay, global execution context, something like this. Okay, now this global execution context, why do we call it a global execution context? Whatever which is not inside any function, right, comes under this global execution context. Okay, this will come later on, a more detailed explanation of this, right? But first understand this execution context in general, then we'll come to what is global, what is local, and all those stuff. Okay, so inside your execution context you have two phases. One phase is the memory creation phase, one is the execution phase or the code execution phase. Okay, so all these jargons you can write it if you want, right? Memory creation phase or creation phase, or execution phase or code execution phase, whatsoever. Okay, in the memory creation phase, what happens? All the variables that you have written or all the functions that you have written, right, will be actually reserved a space in the memory, and the variables will be assigned something called as undefined, right, as a placeholder. Placeholder, you understand, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have given something called as undefined as a placeholder or a default value to all the variables in the memory creation phase. Okay. Functions will actually, get the whole function as a value in the memory creation phase itself. Got it? Now, after reserving the space and giving the default values, right, to the variables and giving the values as of functions to all the functions, when everything is finished and all the scanning of code is done and memory is created, then JavaScript will move to the second phase called as execution phase, and then it will start executing all the code line by line from here. So first here it will come, it will say, okay, so A is actually reserved a memory in the memory creation phase. So, and you are giving the value as 10 in the for A, right? So it will go here, it will go and cut this undefined, remove this undefined and replace it with a value called 10. Okay, and then it will move on. It will see here function. What have you done for this function in the memory creation phase?
Hello.
You have already assigned it, right? You have already assigned it, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So it will move on. It won't do anything. There is nothing to do here, correct? Correct or not?
Yes,
It's already having its value, right? That's what I said. Like for variables, it is actually, getting the values as undefined, but for functions, it actually gets the whole function values, right? Did I say that? Also, I have written here, right? So here it has nothing to do. It's already done in the memory creation phase. Now it will come here. It will see, okay, so the memory for this B is created in the memory creation phase, and it has a value called undefined as by default. And now you are assigning a value as Abhinav. So it will go and memory in the memory, and it will replace the undefined with a variable called Abhinav, right? So it will go here. Okay, it will go here. It will cut this off, right? And then it will add the value as Abhinav here, right? So now B is actually holding Abhinav. Got it? After this line, when this line is executed, correct?
Sir, this part is a little loud. How
Sorry?
Sir, this part, please explain it again.
So that's what I'm saying. See, first thing is when you're in your memory creation phase, everything got created or got reserved a space in the memory, and the variables got a default value called undefined, right?
Okay, sir.
And it happens for all the variables and all the functions, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Only the memory creation and reserving that memory, in the memory of the browser. That's it. Okay, no execution, no invocation of functions, no calling of function, nothing happens. Okay.
Okay.
Now when you start execution, then whatever value you have assigned, right, whatever value you have assigned actually, gets replaced by that value. So now after the memory creation, so memory is created for all of this. Now first phase is done, memory creation phase is done. Now I will come to execution phase. Inside the execution phase, you will start with, assigning the value. So you will see, okay, where A is equal to 10 now. So I have created a memory already, which is undefined, holding undefined now. So it will be replaced with 10. For functions, you have already given them the value in the memory creation phase itself, right? So you don't have to do anything here, right?
Okay.
Then you will come here B. B will also holding undefined. So you will again now replace B with Abhinav. Same thing happens for X. X was also holding undefined. What it will be replaced with when this line is executed?
500.
500. Again, it will come here. What will happen here?
Function.
What will happen here?
That's me.
Nothing will happen here because it's already assigned. That's what I said, right? Here.
Yes.
It's already assigned in the memory creation phase. So nothing will happen here, right? Now here you're calling the function. Understand the difference between this and this. This is just defining the function. This is calling the function. If I define 100 functions and I don't call any of them, you won't get any result. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct. If you have defined a function, let's say if you define a function called calculator, right? And when you pass two values, it actually, let's say not calculator, let's say a simple function, let's call sum, right? It actually expects you to two values, let's say X and Y. And what it returns you is X plus Y, correct? if you have defined, let's say 10 functions like that for sum, for multiplication, for division, for everything, but you never call that function, do you get any result if you don't
No,
call
sir.
it? No, right? So
No,
that's
sir.
what's happening here, right? Till this time, this function was not invoked, right? But, and this invocation never happens in the memory creation phase. This invocation and code execution phase, only all of this invocation or calling of this function happens only in the code execution or execution phase, right? So here it will come and then call this function called test. As soon as it calls, right, it will go and check in that memory that what is test is holding, what test is holding. Test is holding something called as a function, right? So now it will say the alert. Now it will throw you the alert. Got it? Now what I'll do is I'll come to my code. Okay. So let me just stop share for a while and share it again. So see here. Let me show you by, let's say here I have created variable a is equal to 10. Then I have created a function called as test. And then here I am saying alert, right? And I'm saying, hello, this is from JS. Okay. And then I'm saying where x is equal to 100. And then here, let's say I am logging the value. So this console.log, when you do, it actually logs the value in the browser. Okay. So let's say I'm saying, let's say I'm logging the values first here. CONSOLE console.log, and here I'm saying start. Okay, and here I'm saying end. Okay, so what's happening? This is where my code is starting, right? I'm saying start first, right? And then a is equal to 10, and then this function, then x is equal to 100, and then end, right? If I run this, right? If I run this, if I go here, and this is already running. So if I go here in the browser, right? Yeah. If I go here, why is this not okay? Yes. Now if I reload, and if I go to inspect, and then here something called as console is there. Now you can see the value start and end. Can you see that? Start and end.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So this is something like which is coming from this code. Okay, this code. Right? So let's keep it side by side now. Now you are able to see this start, you are able to see this end. But are you able to see this x is equal to 100 as x is y is equal to 10 or any alert now? Previously, when I was writing the alert, I was able to see an alert. Are you seeing this alert now?
No, sir.
So because
No,
we are
sir.
not calling that function.
Because you're not calling that function. Very good, right? You have just defined the function, but you never called it. You never asked it to throw an alert, right? But now, after let's say saying end, if I say test and then pass the parenthesis, straight away what happens? Straight away I'm getting an alert. Correct? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So that's what the difference between function definition and function invocation or function calling. So this is a invocation. So I'll write it here. Invocation or calling.
Sir, variable is not function, then why not showing in the console?
Because what have you done? You have just defined this variable, right?
Okay,
you have said
sir.
where a is equal to 10. If you want to see the value of this variable, what you have to do, you have to again log it.
Console log.
Yes, you can say, okay, I have to remove this alert. This is too much.
Sir, in spite of alert, we can also write console.log.
Yes,
A.
that will do. So here we'll say test, right? And here here, if I want to see the value of a, what I will do, I'll say log,
Console
and then I'll say the variable as a,
A.
right? So now as soon as I do this, what do you see? Start,
A
end,
equal
and
to 10.
after that, start first, this is start, then this end, then what? Then what?
Variable A.
A. What is the value of a?
8.
The value of a is 10. So you are seeing 10 here, not?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then I'm invoking the function called test.
Calling
What
the
is
function
happening?
test.
Test is again going here and calling the test actually logs this value as test here. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Got it.
that's how this invocation happens, right? But now let me show you one thing here. If I say log, let me just go here for now. If I say log, and here if I log the value of a, what will I get? What will be the result?
Nothing.
Undefined.
Nothing, sir.
Nothing.
Undefined,
Undefined error. What will be the result?
Undefined.
What?
Error, sir. Error.
Undefined, sir. Undefined.
Error.
So I
Undefined, undefined, sir.
okay. So someone is saying undefined. Someone is saying
Yes,
error.
sir,
Sir,
undefined.
error आएगा error.
Sir,
Error
undefined
आएगा,
आएगा, sir. Error
और?
तो कभी नहीं आएगा.
Sir,
After this, anything else?
Variable A can't find. Can't find variable A.
Can't find variable a. Okay. What else?
Oh no, this is variable.
What other options do you have?
None
Any other
of
options?
these.
Any other options? Okay, I'll
Sir,
No,
if
sir,
you
no,
are
sir.
going to call this
None
function
of these,
test,
sir.
so
None
all
of
the
these.
values of undefined will be replaced by the
undefined होगा sir, error होगा.
Okay, how many
Undefined.
person are saying undefined?
सर मुझे ये तो यही नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, ये console.log के लिए.
Okay, console.log is to log the value or like how do you write printf? Have you seen printf in JavaScript?
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Yes,
Java.
Yes, sir.
What do you do? What printf does? It prints the value, right? Same thing
Yes.
is this console. To
Okay,
console to log the value in your browser.
Okay, sir.
Okay, same thing.
आप
Got
समझ
it?
में आ रहा है sir.
Right. Okay, so tell me, people, how many are there for undefined?
Sir, undefined आएगा, sir.
Okay, one person undefined. How many of you say error?
Yes, sir.
Undefined.
Yes, sir.
Error, sir.
Error
Error.
आएगा.
Undefined,
Sir,
sir.
Error.
How many of you say can't find a variable?
Error.
No one said that 10 आएगा.
सर 10 ही तो आएगा.
No, sir.
10 नहीं आएगा.
Undefined.
we can execute it.
Okay, चलो
Bottom.
देखते हैं क्या आ रहा है. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए स्टार्ट के बाद ये आना है. करेक्ट, स्टार्ट के बाद. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
और चलो मैं क्या करता हूँ ना, मैं ये सारे हटा देता हूँ अभी के लिए.
लाइन नंबर 15 को कमेंट कर दीजिए.
सारे मैं कमेंट कर दे रहा हूँ. ये टेस्ट भी कमेंट कर दिया. ठीक है, अभी हमारे पास सिर्फ दो हैं, स्टार्ट और उसके बाद हम लोग ये एक की वैल्यू को प्रिंट करा रहे हैं. ठीक है, अब चलते हैं इधर. क्या आ रहा है?
10 undefined.
स्टार्ट के बाद
Undefined.
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 So in all the other language, possibly, right, Java and everywhere, right, when you try to print a value which is not defined yet, it will throw you an error. It say can't find this variable. Have
Sir,
you seen that?
error case कैसे में आएगा sir?
I'll show you all of those things. First answer my question. Have you seen that? In case
Yes,
of
sir.
Java, this actually gives you an error, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? But only in case of JavaScript, this gives you undefined. Why? The reason lies in whatever we just now studied.
Sir, मगर अभी तो हमने डिक्लेयर करा नहीं था, उसके नीचे करा डिक्लेयर, तो फिर कैसे अनडिफाइन आ सकता है?
बस वही मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ.
Yes, sir.
ये जो console.log है, ठीक है, ये जो console.log है, it's a function execution. Not a function execution, but execution phase of the code where you are trying to do something, right? You're trying to log this value, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is something like, let me remove this. This is a execution
Okay, sir. Okay.
execution phase. If I'm talking about just this function definition, what phase is this?
Creation phase.
This is creation phase.
Yes, sir.
What about this?
Execution phase.
Execution phase. Right? What about this?
Creation
What about
phase.
this?
Creation.
First creation phase and then execution phase, both phases.
Both are done simultaneously.
Right? Not simultaneously. Not simultaneously. Don't confuse. First, in the creation phase, what did I said? What will happen if you are writing this line? आपको दिमाग में चमकना चाहिए कि it means that first what is happening in the creation phase, A is equal to, let me write it this way. In guys, please go on a mute. Okay, let me mute all. So in the creation phase, like we just studied, in creation phase, A is equal to what? What? Undefined.
Undefined.
Then again, second step, execution phase, what?
A equal to
A
10.
equal to 10.
A is equal to 10.
A equal to 10. Right? Okay. Now let's start going our way, whatever we have studied. Okay. This is a code of execution phase. What will happen? Will this run in memory creation phase?
No.
No, sir.
No. This is also execution phase. Will this run?
No.
No.
This
No.
is a code of creation phase as well as execution phase. So this will run. What will happen? First, now I will write here. I'm creating my execution context here. Whatever I just created as a pictorial. Execution context. First step, creation.
Memory creation.
What will happen? First step, what will happen in the creation phase?
A is equal to undefined.
Good. A is equal to
Undefined.
undefined. Right? After that? Okay, so this line is done. First, so see how JavaScript execute. JavaScript always execute from left to right and from top to bottom. Okay. Console.log start. Execution phase, nothing happens. Console.log A. Execution phase, nothing happens. Where A is equal to 10, then what happens here? What happens here? In creation phase, so A is equal to undefined, moves on, right? In this, for this function, what will happen? In creation phase,
Nothing will happen.
what will happen? Test
Just
equal to the whole function. Remember? The whole function. Inside that function, what do we have? Console.log test.
Console.log.
It will be here. So test, there is something called as test is created and then given a value as the whole function. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Right? Then we have something like the code moves on. This is done. After that, what happens? After that,
Where X.
where X is created and what is the value?
Undefined.
Undefined again. Right? After that, if this is also not commented out, then what will happen?
Nothing happens. Sir.
Nothing will happen.
If this is not commented out, what will happen? Okay, just give me a second, folks. There is something going on. Folks, can you let's take a break for 5 minutes. Let's get back by 10:12. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We'll start. Is everyone back? People, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start. So where were we? Let me share the screen quickly. So yeah, we were here, right? Okay, so after the execution of this line, right, sorry, after the in the creation phase, first phase, after this line, when this line is completed, what will happen?
सर आपका आवाज स्लो आ रहा है.
हेलो
हाँ सर.
सॉरी, मेरी माइक छूट गई थी नीचे. हाँ, अब आवाज आ रही है?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so when we are here, when we say where x is equal to 100 in the creation phase, what happens?
X
Does
is equal to
100 gets assigned to x? No, x is actually assigned as undefined, correct?
yes.
Correct. And same thing for this, all like for this a also, test actually gets whole of the thing assigned. Now when if I uncomment all of this two also, will this be taken care in the creation phase? What is this code for? This code is of execution phase, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Same thing for this also. Which phase?
This also
Execution phase.
Execution phase,
Execution.
right? This invocation also, right? This invocation of this function also. What is this phase?
Execution phase.
This is also in the execution phase. This is not a creation phase, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So after this, when this invocation is done, so this is also a execution phase. So nothing will happen for this also in the creation phase. So in the creation phase, what happens now? Let's see. A is assigned a value called undefined. Test is assigned a value function. X is assigned something called as undefined. This is done in the creation phase. Now the execution phase will start, which is the second phase. Correct? Second phase, which is execution phase. Now let's start. Okay, now we start execution phase. In the execution phase, what happens? I say console.log start. What will happen here?
Start.
Start.
You will see start. That's what you see here, correct?
Yes.
Correct or not?
Yes,
You see
sir.
start here, right? Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm saying console.log a. What is the value of a at this point of time?
Undefined.
Undefined.
Value of a is undefined in the memory, correct? That's why you see undefined here. Get it?
Yes.
Now, after this line console.log of a, what do I do? I say a is equal to 10. Now, which this phase is actually half of the things is completed in the creation phase, that a is created and assigned a value called undefined. Now what am I saying? I'm saying a is equal to 10. So what will happen? What will happen?
10.
This undefined will change to 10.
This undefined will be removed and value will be 10.
10.
Okay.
Yes, and
After this function, what will happen for this one?
Test.
Nothing. This is already
Yes,
done
sir.
in the creation phase itself. There is no execution happening as of now. Again, for this x is equal to 100, what will happen for this one in the execution phase?
X equal to 100.
X is equal to 100. Very good.
100.
Right? Now, you say console.log of end. So you see end. Correct?
End. Execution
Now,
phase.
here you say console.log of a. Correct? Console.log of a. So this time, what do you get?
10.
Again, you are saying
10, sir.
console.log of a. This time, what do you get? Why? Why 10 this time?
Age
The
defined.
execution phase.
Because this line is actually completed in the execution phase and the 10 is assigned to this. Right? So now again, it will go to the memory and check that what is the value of a. This time it is 10, correct?
Yes.
So then that's why you see 10 here. And then you call this. For this one, what you did? You just defined and assigned the value for this test as function and say that console.log.test. Now you're calling that function. Correct? Now when you call that function, what will happen? What will happen?
Test will be executed.
Test will be executed and you will see test printed here. If I say running or something, let's say test, anything else, let's say print test. So you will see print test. Right? And this is coming from this line, the start. There is nothing called a start. So that's throwing you an error. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now let me show you, like, if whatever I'm saying is actually correct. So what I'll do is I'll just make it more simpler this time. I will remove each and everything. So what I'll do, I'll start the comment from here. So what you can do, you can say slash and then start. For multi-line comment, right? For single line comment, what you can do is you can just give a double slash, right? Double slash in front of the code like this, and it will be commented. For multi-line comment, what you can do, you can say slash and then star, and then wherever you want to end it, you can say star and then slash, like this. Okay, so this is called as a multi-line comment. Now I will show you one thing, very simple thing. Okay, so here I'm saying where a is equal to, let's say, up enough, and then I'm saying, let me not show this one for now, and I'm saying
Sir,
log
Avna,
value.
sir,
Anji.
sir, Avna is a string. There is no necessary to define which types of data types, a string or integer.
So okay, yeah, this is also a benefit, you will say, benefit of JavaScript. You no need to define that what type you're going to assign to your variables. I can assign anything. I can assign a string, I can assign a boolean, I can assign a number, I can assign a function, I can assign an array, I can assign an object, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, all those things we'll see when we start with data types. Okay, what happens and what all things are there. Okay.
Okay.
But for time being, just bear with me. This is just
Sir,
a
how
beginning,
can we
right?
get to know whether the variable is string, integer?
Okay, I'll come to that. There is something called, there is a operator called type of. When you say type of a, it will tell you that what it is. It is a string, or it is a number, it is an object, what it is. It will tell you. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll see. Those are kind of, you know, advanced. We are not we have just started, right? JavaScript is huge. So please have some, you know, faith and just stay with me for some time. Okay, we'll cover each and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now here I'm saying, so who can tell me what all will be the result of just these 3 lines of code?
First one is undefined, sir.
Undefined.
Undefined and
Undefined and
Abhinav.
everyone agrees. Everyone agrees for this
Yes,
one,
sir.
right?
Sir,
If I
yes.
Yes, sir.
go here, it's same, undefined and then Abhinav.
Yes, sir.
Everyone is clear with this, like why this is happening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Clear.
Clear? Okay.
Yes.
Now the same thing, whatever I said, to depict that, like whatever, you know, way I said, whatever way that I said that this is happening, I will try to do something like this. What I'm doing, I am saying, let's say I'm defining a function test. Okay, here, or let's not call it test, let's say print value. Okay, and here I'm saying log, and then here I'm saying value is this, let's say something like this. Okay, and I am just here invoking this value. So this is understandable to everyone, correct? This is this one, line number
Yes,
35, 36, and 37, that what is happening,
Yes, sir.
how it is happening behind the scenes, what is happening, everything.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Can I remove this then? Can I comment
Yes,
this out?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let's pay a close attention here. Okay, now what am I doing? I am saying I'm defining a value called print value here, and then I'm calling this value is this, and then I'm calling here. What will be the result?
Value is this.
Value is
Value is
this.
this.
You will be able to
Is
see
this.
the browser. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Simple. Simple. Now, what am I doing? I'm calling this here. Before defining, what will happen? Can anyone tell me? Now what?
Value is
Undefined.
What will be this? Now again, I will give you options. Someone is saying
Value is
undefined.
this, sir.
Second one.
Value is
saying
this.
Value is this.
Then not fine.
Answer
Third one,
call
someone is
anywhere,
saying-
sir.
Sir, 2 बार से value this आएगा ना sir?
I'm asking about this one. Let's remove this. I don't care about this. I only care about this one. That what this
Value is this, sir.
Value this, sir.
value is this. And someone is saying undefined. Any other options?
No, sir.
sir, undefined only.
Okay. Now, how many of you say that undefined?
Yes, sir, undefined.
Yes.
Undefined?
Yes.
How many of you say value of is this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Let's see the
sir.
result. Okay, let's see the result.
Yes, sir.
From where it is
Constant
coming?
can call
It is coming
anywhere.
from line number 44. Line number 44 is this. Now, why it is saying whenever I'm here, when I'm trying to log the value, it was saying undefined, but when I'm calling the function, it is actually giving the result even before calling that function. Why? What's the reason?
So because of
hoisting.
creation
Because
phase.
of this creation phase. Okay, because of this creation phase. Inside this creation phase, what happened? What did I said? This A is actually had a value called undefined. But what did I said for functions? What happens? What function actually hold? Function hold the whole value. They said that function hold the whole value, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you try, when this will be executed, first tell me that in which phase this will be executed.
Execution phase.
Execution whichever.
In which phase this will be actually saved as a in the memory and assign this print value? Which phase?
Creation
Sir,
phase.
memory allocation phase.
Creation phase.
This is creation
Creation
or
phase, sir.
Creation
memory
Sir.
creation phase. Correct?
Yes.
So when I start the execution phase and I call this as print value, this value or this function is already present and saved in the memory. Correct? Correct?
Yes,
That's
yes,
why you get this value actually printed. Got it? Now let me show you. Let me show you this. Let me actually show you that this is happening. Yeah. Let me actually what I will do. Likewise, I printed the value for A. I will now print the value for this function. I'm not calling this function. I'm printing this function. Print value. Okay, same thing. So let me remove this also. Okay, let me remove this also. So here I'm logging this the value of this function, and here also I'm logging the value of this print value. Let's see what result I will get. Here, if this is a variable, we all know that what is the result. We have seen that here, correct? If this is a variable, what is the result? What will the result I will get here?
Undefined. Value is this.
Undefined. What the result I will get here if it is a variable? Whatever is the value of that variable, correct?
yes.
Correct. Now let's see what do I get for functions. Let's see. So if I go
Sir,
here,
opening and closing braces.
what you are seeing here, are you seeing the whole function or not?
Yes, sir.
From
Yes,
line number
sir.
40, what you are seeing? From line number 40, what you are seeing? You're seeing the whole function here. That's what I said here or not?
Yes, sir.
That test will be actually allocated the whole function, and then print value is whatever is the name of that function, right? Function, and then whatever is the body for that. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So even before you reach here in the execution phase, your function is actually holding the value, right? Because this is actually done in the creation phase itself, right? So that's why this doesn't give you undefined or any error, but it actually give you the value that you are expecting. Got it?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
Got it?
it means the
Gives you whole function
JavaScript.
value.
Okay. One by one.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, the JavaScript engine will scan the code for 2 times.
Yes. First time it will just scan the code, create it in the memory, and then done. Next time, again, that's what I said. It actually happens in 2 phases. It never happens one that it started here, it's executed, and creation, everything is happening on the same time. No. First time it actually goes through all of this code, allocates the memory for the variables, for functions, for function parameters, everything, and done. Then it start execution. Got it?
Okay, sir. Sir, then it will take a lot of time.
No.
Because it is scanning 2 times.
It's scanning 2 times, but it's very fast. It's very, very, very fast. It happens very fastly. Okay, that's what is the also a beauty of JavaScript. It is very, very, very fast. Okay, that's why you see that people are shifting toward nodes. If you ask people that why are you using node in your backend, they will say it's very fast. It's faster than Java. It's faster than what do you say, Python also. Okay, so if you're going for a small scale application and you don't have much of a load on your server, you can go with Node is very fast. If you just need the application to be rapid fast, you can go with Node.
So why we are getting to see this print value 2 times?
Because I'm printing it here also.
Okay.
If I remove this, they will get only one time.
Okay. Okay.
So JavaScript is something like similar to Java?
No, it's not similar to Java. Okay, so let me give you a story also behind it. So
Sir,
JavaScript,
can you repeat again line number 40?
Line
It's
number
a dynamic.
40.
40. So that's what, when you say what phase of code this is, like what phase this code is actually done, like or called, in which phase code is this? This is the
Creation
code
phase?
for execution phase, not creation phase. In the creation phase, what did I said?
Yes,
Just
sir.
the allocation of memory, right? Are you trying to create any memory here?
No.
You're just trying to
No,
change the value, right?
no.
You're not trying to
No.
create anything, correct? Creation phase means what? You're trying to create something, right? Am I trying to create anything on this line? Or if
Sir,
say, yes,
even we call the function, it will print only the function body, sir.
if you call the function, it will not give you the function body. It will just give you this result, that whatever this function is actually,
Okay,
asked,
log value will return the results.
yes. So if I call this value, see, it is, what do you get? It didn't get the whole function body. You get the
Sir,
value.
like I am telling that logging the calling methods.
Yes.
Console.log of print
You're just
value of.
printing this value. You're just printing this value when you invoke or call this function. Okay. Got it, everyone?
Yes.
Yes. So that's how your JavaScript runs. This is what happens for functions. This is what happens for variables. And that's how everything works behind the scenes. If you understand this concept, you're later. So someone was saying, I heard in between hosting and all, right? Hosting is this only. I'll tell you more about it, like what happens and what happens in case of var, let, and everything. But this is actually, what happens. This is actually the reason for hosting. Okay. And hosting is a very, very, well known questions for interview, right? If you are able to, the first question I believe that 70% of you get in the interview is what is hosting. And if you answer that well, if you understand, and if you tell them that these many phases, 50% chances are that your selection is done then and there. Okay. Then after that, interview will just try to go move you here and there, that if you know these things, but your impression will be very, very positive if you know all these things, like in the creation phase. So if you make them understand like this, like first there is a creation phase, then this things happens in the creation phase, and then there is the execution phase. These many things happen in the execution phase. So this is the code for creation phase. This is the code for execution phase, right? So everything, if you make them understand, and you make them understand the hosting part and all of this part, all of this behind the scene logic of JavaScript, you're done. Okay. So
Yes,
these
sir.
are the things that will give you, that will strengthen your chances in the interviews. Okay. So
Okay,
Priya, and I believe that all of you actually got this, actually, like this is the very first thing that I wanted to start off with, because this is a very core part, right? If any one of you has any questions related to this, why is this, how is this, everything, ask now itself. Okay, because in the future we'll be using this execution context so many times. I will just say that, okay, so this is a execution context is getting created. So you should have a mind makeup already that, okay, so these many things might have been happening behind the scenes. And if I say that, okay, this is actually happening in the creation phase and this is in the execution phase, you should understand, okay, so creation phase and execution phase are different. So, and this is how both the phases works. So is it clear, everyone? Every single person?
Sir, so hosting means the same thing that you have explained, memory creation and execution.
Correct. I will explain hosting. There is couple of more things, but if you understand this, those things are just cakewalks. Those are very, very easy if you understand this concept.
Sir, once go to 48 lines.
Line number 48, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so in this line, I'm saying that
Sir, once type console.log of in front of print value.
okay, so if I type the console.log of print value,
Yes, sir.
console.log of print value, you will get the same thing
Print
here.
value of, sir, like calling the function within the log.
Like here,
Invoking the function within the logs.
like this.
Yes, sir.
So here you won't get anything, right? Why? See, in when you are what you are saying here, print value, what this will do? This will actually print the value and it's done. Correct?
Yes.
Correct. But now what you are saying, console.log of console.log. Correct?
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why you here you will get nothing.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
नेक्स्ट टाइम सर कि जब ये दोबारा रिपीट हुआ, पहले टाइम में तो इसने आउटपुट दिया, दोबारा जो इसने किया तब इसकी वजह से
वही तो मैं
अनडिफाइंड
बोल रहा
हुआ.
हूँ, console.log of console.log you're saying. So first time it gave the value. Print of value will give you this value, obviously, right? So that's why you see from line number 43, it's giving you the value, right? But now what you're saying, console.log of console.log, there is nothing of that sort. So it's giving you undefined. Okay. So you're saying something like this. Console.log of console.log, something like this, right? Something like this. So that's why it's giving you that. Okay, something like that.
Okay.
So that actually, this is that I'll tell you that I'll tell you about that also. Like when you return something out of this function, then you will get the result here. So if I return something out of it, that is a kind of a more advanced, but I don't want you to take there now. Okay, first this is the basics and this should be clear. After that we'll see all those things, like when you console.log of console.log and what all those things, when you can do this, when you can call a function within a console.log and when you will get the result here. I'll talk about that also. Okay, don't bother for now. Is this part clear? Execution phase, creation phase, when I call the function before, why when I call the function even before instantiation, then it works, but for variables it doesn't work. Everything is clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me tell you one more thing. Okay, so let's say, so at the very beginning, what did I say? There is something called as global execution context. Did I say that?
Yes, sir.
Global variable type.
Global execution context. Did I say that?
Global variable type, sir.
No. Global execution context.
Yes, sir. It is a execution phase.
Yes. So can I comment out all of this? This is understandable now, right? Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now let's come here. Global execution context. Now, what is this context? So we know that within our execution context, two things happens, right? Memory creation, code execution. Now, what is this global thing? Okay, this global thing means that whatever code which is not inside any function or any block. Okay, function you already know. What is a function? That whenever you do something like this, function, and you do something like this, like let's say a name test, and then when you create it, so this is called a function, right? And how you create a block, so this is a function, right? Now a block is simply when you say something like this, open and closed curly braces, and inside that you write something like this, console.log, like
Within the block.
so this actually allows you to create a block, right? This is called as a block, this is called as a function. Okay, so whatever code which is not inside a block or a function actually is inside something called as global execution context. Okay,
Sir, repeat again.
whatever code which is not inside any block or any function, then that code is inside your global execution context.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now let's go here.
So that we can use anywhere, sir.
I'll tell you that why am I saying global, and then why am I saying each and everything. I'll tell you about it. So for this code, if I ask you this code, in which context is this?
Global.
Global.
Global, sir.
This one?
Global.
Global.
This is
This
also
one?
global.
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 This function?
No global.
No, sir.
This
Block.
function?
Block.
In
Global.
block.
This
Within
function
a-
is global. What did I
Global.
said? Whatever is inside
Yes,
this
sir.
function, that is not global.
Yes, sir.
Whatever this function is
Global.
Global.
global. This
Global.
No global.
this is also global. This is this inside any function?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
right? But what about this?
It's not global.
This is not global execution context. The execution context of this code is this function. So this is having a local execution context or function execution context. Okay, so execution contexts are also of different types, right? There is something called as global execution context, and whatever is inside a function. So whatever I define here, let's say I say where a is equal to 10, right? And here let's say I say where x is equal to 20, right? Here I say log, and inside that I say value of a, and inside this I say log and the value of x. Okay, let's remove this for now. Now this code is in global execution context. This code is in global execution context. This function is in global execution context. But these two lines of code defining where x is equal to 20 and console.log of x is not inside global execution context. Is inside which execution context?
Local.
Local, which is what is the name of that local?
Local variable.
Test, sir.
Test is the name of this function. This code is actually inside this test function, right? So the execution context for this code, these two lines of code, is this test. Okay, this is a functional execution context, you can say. Okay, so similarly, what happened for that global execution context, right? Same thing always also happens for this function execution context. Okay, now how? Let me tell you how. Let's say here inside that whatever I wrote, right? Let's say I actually defined 5 variables, and then where a is equal to this, b is equal to 20, c is equal to something, right? Something, let's say 30, and so on. Like let's say many other things. Then inside this function here also I defined some of the things. X is equal to something, let's say y is equal to also something, and z is also equal to something. Okay, now whatever happened for this global one, what happened for that global one? First, a actually created, right, in the memory or not? A actually created in the memory or not? A gets created in the memory and assigned a value, right, in the execution phase. In the creation phase, what happened? A gets created and
undefined S and the
right.
undefined.
So let me write it here. Global, and in near future I will write this execution context as EC. Okay, so what happens for this A?
First, undefined.
Undefined, very good. Then for this one, what will happen?
Yeah,
A equal to 10.
10, sir.
no, sir.
No,
What
nothing.
happens in the first phase for this line of code?
Nothing.
Nothing, sir.
Right. For B, again same thing.
Undefined.
Undefined.
For B will be also undefined, and for
C will be undefined.
He also undefined.
so B will also be undefined, C will also be undefined, correct? And then what will happen?
Test equal to something.
Test will be equal to this whole function. Got
Yes,
it?
sir.
This
Yes,
whole
sir.
function will be just
Below
assigned.
whole function.
just assigned like this. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
let me,
We are not calling the function yet.
yes. So it will be something like this. Test will be something like this. It's a kind of a function, fn, I will say, right? It will just, give it like something like this. So if I log this value, like, so let's say I log this value also here. So I give a log and I log the test here. What I will get?
Whole function.
Here, if I comment this out, you'll get the whole function, right? That's what I said here, correct? The whole function. Get it? Now you're able to see this where x is equal to 20, where y is equal to 40, where z is equal to 50. But this is not there in the memory. This is not there. Okay. And also let me tell you one thing. Now, can anyone tell me if I try to write here I'm logging the value of console.log of x. Am I getting the value of console.log of x at this line? It's
No,
same
sir.
to same whatever I have written written here. Is it giving me 20?
Inside this.
No,
Is it
sir.
giving me 20?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
no.
sir.
It's not giving me 20, right? It's just the same to same whatever is there inside the function that has just been printed as same, right? F denotes for function and then the name of the function and then whatever is there inside the function. Doesn't matter what I have written, right? No line of code is executed. It's just, whatever I have written, it's just takes that and pastes
Executed
that
the whole
value.
function.
Got it? The whole function. Okay. Now, can you guess, like, if I try to give something like this, log of, let's say y, what this will give me?
40, sir.
What this will give me?
40.
Can't find symbol.
Undefined.
Undefined, sir.
First option is
Undefined.
undefined. Second option?
Can't
Error.
find. Error.
Can't
So that-
find. Anything else?
No, sir.
Anything else?
Undefined, sir.
No, sir.
Now let me show you.
No, sir. Because
What does it say?
Yeah.
Not defined.
Y is not defined, right? Why?
Sir, because we are not calling a function. We haven't called any function yet.
Very
This
good.
function test is not
let's-
being called.
Exactly. Let's go line by line. What's happening? Okay. So when I say global execution context, it means that there is a context which is created and inside that there is some memory created, correct? Am I saying it correct? Some memory
Yes.
was created.
Yes,
In
sir.
that memory, what all things were created? If I give it a log of, if I give it as a log of, let's say a, if I give it as a log of a, let's say I remove this, I comment this out. If I give it as a log of a or log of b, will I get any error? I don't get
No.
any error. I actually get these values, right? 10, 20. Am I getting these values? 10 for
Yes.
this A, 20 for this B. I'm getting the values, right? But when I try to print this Y, I was actually getting the error here, right? Saying that Y is not defined, correct? If I comment this out, see, what does it say? Reference error, Y is not defined, right? Why is that? Why is that it's saying? Because when this global execution context is created, what did I said? It only creates memory for whatever is there, which is not inside any function or any block. Did I say that at the beginning?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is this code inside any function or a block?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So for this, no memory will be created as of now. Okay. I'll tell when this will be created, but as of now, you're also seeing that no memory is created, and that's why when you try to print it, you're not getting it. Get it?
Yeah.
Right. Now, for this one, the memory was created, so you're able to get it. For function, if you print test the whole function, you're getting it, right? But when you're trying to print the direct value of x, you're not getting it, or direct value of y, you're not getting it, right? Now, when this will be created, this will be created whenever you invoke this function, if you try to invoke this function, right, then as soon as you go here, right, so first let's go step by step again. Okay, let's say I have 3 things here and 3 things here. In the first phase, again, let's start from the beginning. First phase, what is the first phase?
A
The first
equal
phase,
to undefined.
memory creation phase,
Memory creation.
right? In the memory creation phase, what happens? A is assigned a value undefined like this. B is assigned a value undefined from here. C is assigned a value undefined. Test is assigned the whole value, right? After this will this be done in the memory creation phase?
No,
No, sir.
This also nothing. Okay.
Execution.
Right. Now let's come to the second phase that we have. What do we have in the second phase?
Execution phase.
Code execution phase, like this, right? As soon as I do this, right? As soon as I do this, what will happen? What will happen?
Sir, we will have the values of A and B.
It will start execution now. So now you will see console.log of A will be executed. This console will be executed. This console will be executed. This console will be executed. But did I invoke this function? Did I set that test and then 2 parentheses? Did I set that? Did I set that? No, I didn't, right? So nothing will happen for this test. But after this code, if I say something like this, test and these two, right? What will happen? Again, one execution context will be created for this test. And again, the same thing will happen. Whatever happened for this X, Y, whatever happened for this A, B, and C, the same thing will happen for this X, Y, Z also. Just give me a second.
भाई डीजे बंद कर दो.
Sorry, folks. Too much of marriage. हाँ जी, यही बात है एक्चुअली. मेरे जॉल के बगल में ही घर है मेरा, तो आती रहती है लोग. क्या ही करूं. चलो.
बैन लगा दिया आपसे.
हाँ, मैं शिफ्ट कराने का सोच रहा हूँ यार, यहाँ से देखता हूँ. चलो. तो what did I said? When you invoke this test, right? When you make a call to this test using these 2 parentheses, then again same thing happen for this test. Again, a new execution context will be created for this test function, right? And then the same thing will happen whatever happened for this global execution context. Now, can anyone tell me, as soon as I say this, as soon as I say, you know, test is equal to like this, what will happen? As I said, new execution context will be created inside this. So new EC. What will happen in this EC? What will happen in that EC?
Creation phase and execution
Again,
phase.
creation phase and execution phase. Now, what will happen in the creation phase for these variables now?
X, Y, and Z.
Same thing, right? Here, what will happen? X will be equal to undefined.
Y is equal to undefined.
Y is equal to undefined, right? And then Z is equal to undefined, right? And then what will happen? Will this be taken care in the memory creation phase?
No, sir.
No. Then what will happen for this execution context, for this one? What will happen?
Console.log.
New execution context is created. Whatever happened in the first or any execution context, the same steps are followed. In this one, what was happening? First, memory creation. Second was what?
Code
Second was
execution.
code execution, right? So same thing will happen here also. After creation of everything, code execution. In that execution, what will happen?
Console.log.
In that execution, there will be log, and then you will be getting this value.
X.
Okay, right? So now let me comment out all of this so that you don't get any error. All of this, and let me show you the result now. So as soon as I do this, see what happens. First, you get A from where? Pay a close attention to the
Global
right-hand side
execution.
also. From this also, pay a close attention here also. Okay, let me keep it side by side now. From where this line is coming? From line number?
Scroll कर लो side का.
58.
Line number 58, right? So here अगर मैं यहाँ पे जाऊँ तो ये आ रही है आपकी इस लाइन से, correct? A. After that from line number
62,
right, which is this. यहाँ पे आप क्या कर रहे हो? You're logging the test, the whole function. So you're getting the whole function. Get it? Correct?
Yes.
Now you're seeing line number 73 जहाँ पे आप console.log कर रहे हो A की value. A की value क्या है?
10.
So you're seeing 10. Now उसके बाद आप क्या कर रहे हो? You're seeing console.log of B. B की value क्या है?
20.
आपने देखा यहाँ पे 20. After that, what you did? You called test. Correct? You called test. Inside, as soon as you call test, what happens?
Console.log X.
No.
Test function will be called.
Test function will be.
As soon as you make a call to test, it goes to test, and again the two phases.
Creation and execution.
Creation and execution. Creation for these three variables and assigned values as 20. X is equal to undefined, Y is equal to undefined, Z is equal to undefined. Then it goes for execution. Then it says console.log of X, and that's why you see 20. Don't say that you are not seeing that where these three values are getting defined, so it's going to test and directly logging the value of X. No, the same thing, whatever was followed for this global, same thing is followed for this function also. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let's say I have two functions. Let's say like this test, I have one more. Test 1. And here again I have, let's say, x1, y1, and z1, right? And again here I'm calling the something like this, test 1. What will happen? What will happen again?
Execution. Context.
Again, after when you say this, right? When you say test and then invoke, right? What happens? It goes to this test function. It creates the memory for all three, right? The memory phase is completed. The execution phase is completed. And then this test function is finished. This is finished as soon as both the phase are completed. Okay. After that, it comes to this test 1. Okay. If you come to this test 1, now what happens?
Memory creation execution.
Again, the same thing. It goes to test 1, right? It goes to test 1 and it says x1, y1, z1. Correct?
Yes.
Now, for that one, I will also say that from line number 75, what am I trying to print?
X.
I'm trying to print the value of X, and it is saying that it is not defined. Can anyone tell me why?
Sir, because of block scope, sir. I mean,
Not block scope, because
सर वो दूसरे फंक्शन में डिफाइन है.
exactly दोनों अलग अलग एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट के हैं. करेक्ट. इसके एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में x डिफाइंड है, लेकिन ये एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट अलग है. दिस इज द एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट फॉर टेस्ट. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट फॉर टेस्ट 1. करेक्ट. करेक्ट. अगर टेस्ट के अंदर कोई x नाम का चीज है?
no.
नो सर.
टेक्स्ट के अंदर क्या है? x1 है, y1 है, z1 है. एज सुन एज मैं इसको x1 करता हूं, आप देखोगे ये एरर चला जाएगा.
Yes, sir.
राइट.
Yes.
क्योंकि अब इसको x1 मिल रहा है, क्योंकि ये इसके एग्जीक्यूशन कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर है. करेक्ट. करेक्ट.
Yes.
This is about how multiple execution context gets created, and this happens inside something called as call stack. Okay, there is something called as call stack. Okay, so call stack and everything that I will actually talk maybe in the next session, and then and there I will also talk about something like how actually lexical scoping works. We have actually covered half of it, right? So we will be talking about lexical scoping also, right? Now, are you able to get like how you get JavaScript into the browser, how the two phases works, everything, right? We are going a bit slower as of now because there were two more topics that we have to cover. If you get the assignment from those topics like lexical scoping and all of this, don't confuse. We are going very good, and we will be covering all those in the next couple of sessions. Does that make sense?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Right. So, did you understood like how multiple execution context gets created? Right?
Yes.
Up till this
Yes,
now, we see before what did we study? We just studied that how execution context gets created, what all phases are there. Okay, then we got to know that execution contexts actually are couple of in couple of ways it gets created. One is whatever is inside, nothing inside any function, and whatever is nothing inside any block, those comes under global execution context, and those gets created first. And whenever we invoke a function, what happens? What happens? A new execution context created for that function, specific function, right?
Yes, sir.
And whatever we studied in the execution context, same thing also gets followed for that whole function also. Got it? That is clear?
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't matter how many functions. Any number of functions that you have, that many execution contexts. Okay? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Up till this, if it's clear, if it's understandable for everyone, right? We will go much more complex ways. I'll try to keep functions inside functions and execution context inside execution context, right? That also we will be doing. As of now, also that is happening, but you folks have not guessed it, or you folks might not be able to visualize it, but I will make you visualize in the next session. Okay?
Okay.
I hope that you learned something new from this session, and everything whatever I talked about, you got a hold of it. If not, try to think about it again. If you didn't understood, come back in the next session, ask questions. Okay?
Yes.
Fine?
Yes, sir.
These things are the basics, and we have just started off, right? So it might take some time to digest in the start, right? But we will be going faster, maybe from the next session onwards, or after a couple of sessions onwards. When you understand the basics part, you will be able to get it gradually. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I think we are already up.
Sir, send the code on select channel, sir.
Sorry?
Send the code on select channel.
Code, I'm not able to hear you properly. आप फिर से बोलोगे एक बारी?
Sir, please put paste to the select.
अच्छा हाँ, मैं वो करके
सर
मैं
पुश कर
आपको
दीजिए ना सर,
हाँ, मैं push
गिटहब पे पुश
करके
कर दीजिए।
आपको गिट का लिंक भेज दूंगा स्लैक पे, आप ले लेना वहां से, ठीक है? ठीक है, ओके चलो फिर मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट
थैंक यू
सेशन।
सर।
बाय,
गुड नाइट सर।
गुड नाइट। ओके, सो किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है यहाँ पे, सर if we print x1 outside the test1 function after calling the test1 function, will it get print? Okay, we'll talk about it also after, like this is again something from lexical scoping. This question I was expecting this question, Vandana, so good that you asked. Nice one, but we will be discussing this in the next session, but because this is our next topic, okay, that what can be accessible where. Okay, lexical scoping, under lexical scoping, this is our next topic. Fine. Okay people, let's see in the next session. Bye bye.